The belief system you were born into feels inseparable from who they are. Challenging it feels like an attack on identity. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Long before you had the ability to reason, analyze, or compare, your belief system was already in place by your birthplace, your family, the culture and coordinates you were born into. If you had entered the world somewhere else, odds are high you'd be just as convinced of a completely different truth. Some people call that luck. They say they were born into the only true religion, but when everyone everywhere says the same thing, that's not luck, that's conditioning. And that's exactly why this conversation matters, because the moment you realize your identity may have been handed to you, not discovered by you, you begin to wake up to reality. This video is not here to tear beliefs down. It is here to ask what actually belongs to you, what survives questioning, what you would still stand on if no one else was watching, approving, or expecting agreement. Everything else is just noise. We'll go over a few chapters, and by the end, you won't be told what to believe, only how to know whether what you believe is truly yours. Chapter 1. The question nobody likes. So you're saying my religion is a lie? That question comes up fast whenever belief is challenged, and it reveals something important. Most people don't hear a question about belief as curiosity. They hear it as an attack, not because the question is hostile, but because belief and identity have been fused together. When a belief becomes part of who you are, questioning it feels like erasing yourself. That's why conversations about religion turn emotional so quickly. It's not about ideas anymore. It's about belonging, family, history, and loyalty. But notice something. The question isn't, is your religion wrong? The question is, did you ever choose it? Those are very different things. Most people never pause long enough to separate belief from inheritance. They defend what feels familiar because familiarity feels safe, and safety is often mistaken for truth. The discomfort that rises when this question is asked is evidence. It shows that belief has been protected from inspection. Anything that cannot be questioned without fear has already crossed the line from truth and conviction into identity armor. This is an invitation to examine your belief, to pull it out of the realm of reflex and place it into the realm of choice. Because if you can truly question your belief without emotions, without collapsing, it stops being inherited and starts becoming yours. Ask yourself a hard question and answer it honestly. If you had been born somewhere else, would you believe the same thing? Religion follows geography with frightening accuracy. Your faith is usually determined long before you speak your first sentence, by the coordinates of your birth, the language in your home, and the traditions of the people who raised you. Change the location, and the belief almost always changes with it. A child born in one region grows up convinced their religion is the ultimate truth. A child born elsewhere grows up just as convinced of a completely different one. Each will defend their belief with equal certainty, equal passion, and equal confidence that they are right. Some people respond by saying they were simply lucky to be born into the correct faith. But everyone everywhere says the same thing. Every belief system produces people who feel chosen rather than conditioned. That should give you pause. If truth were obvious, it wouldn't need geography to protect it. It wouldn't rely so heavily on birth order, culture, or repetition. Yet belief systems depend on these things more than they depend on examination. This doesn't mean belief is false. It means belief is fragile when it's unexamined. Geography explains how you believe what you believe. It does not explain why it's true. And until that gap is faced honestly, conviction is just inheritance wearing confidence. Chapter 2. Assigned identity. As children, we trust before we evaluate. That's how survival works. We absorb the worldview of the people who keep us alive. Their beliefs become our normal long before we develop the ability to analyze them. By the time reasoning kicks in, the foundation is already set. That's why questioning belief later feels like betrayal. It feels like rejecting your parents, your community, your past. But identity built without choice is not identity, it's inheritance. Most people confuse familiarity with truth because familiarity arrives first. This is where many people stop. They never move past what was handed to them. Not because they're afraid of truth, but because examining belief threatens the story they've been living inside. Yet maturity begins where inheritance ends. This is the point where belief moves from something you were given to something you consciously accept, reject, or reshape. The moment you begin to question inherited belief, something tightens inside you, because you've stepped outside psychological safety. Belief provides structure. It tells you who you are, where you belong, and how the world makes sense. Inspecting it threatens that structure. Your mind reacts the same way it would to physical danger. That discomfort is often mistaken for a warning sign. People say, "This doesn't feel right," and turn back. But discomfort is not a signal that you're wrong. It's a signal that you're no longer protected by certainty. Growth has never felt comfortable. Every genuine shift in understanding begins with instability. The mind resists because certainty feels safer than truth that hasn't settled yet. This is why belief systems discourage questioning, even subtly. Not always through force, but through emotional consequence. Guilt, fear, shame. The implication that doubt equals betrayal. But inspection is not destruction. Examining a belief does not weaken it. It reveals whether it has strength at all. Anything true can withstand scrutiny. Anything fragile demands silence. The discomfort you feel when you question isn't a flaw in the process. It is the process. And on the other side of that discomfort is something rare, belief that belongs to you, not to fear. Chapter 3. Choice versus inheritance. There is a difference between believing something and choosing it. Inherited belief asks nothing of you. It arrives fully formed and demands loyalty. Chosen belief requires responsibility. It forces you to confront alternatives, weigh evidence, and accept uncertainty before clarity arrives. This is why inheritance feels easier. Choice removes the shield of, "This is just how I was raised." Once you choose, you can no longer hide behind tradition. Whatever you believe becomes your responsibility. Many people avoid this step because it feels like standing alone. Inherited belief offers community and certainty. Chosen belief offers ownership and risk. But conviction only exists where choice has occurred. Without choice, belief is habit. With choice, belief becomes commitment. Some people, after inspection, return to the same faith they were raised in. Others don't. Both outcomes are valid. What matters is that the belief survived questioning rather than avoiding it. Truth does not fear alternatives. If something collapses under examination, it was never solid to begin with. And if it remains, it becomes stronger, not weaker. Choice doesn't guarantee correctness. It guarantees honesty. And honest belief is the only kind that can truly endure. If what you believe was never questioned, it was never chosen. And if it was never chosen, it was only inherited, carried for you before you were old enough to decide. This isn't about tearing religion down or declaring anyone wrong. It's about ownership, about separating what was handed to you from what actually survives inspection. Whatever remains after questioning faith, doubt, meaning, or humility is real. Because it's no longer protected by fear or tradition. It stands on understanding. Everything else is background noise. And the moment you decide what stays, belief stops owning you and starts belonging to you.